Hello and welcome to the Powerboost meditation. Today, let us experiment with the theme dot thinking. Dot thinking. A dot is the simplest punctuation mark that we have. We have line, we have circles, we have cubes, we have tetrahedras. In mathematics, we have multi-dimensional objects. But a dot is the simplest of it all. It takes the minimum effort to create a dot, to make a dot. It's as if a dot means that there is nothingness to it. A dot also means that when I put a dot after a sentence, which means another sentence will begin. So in my thoughts, when I realize that after one thought is over, I put a dot and then the other thought comes, which means there is a proper meaning in my thinking. When there is dot, I can pause, I can get meaning and then create a second thought. When I look at my identity, I realize that whatever the 3D image that I see in the mirror, when I realize that it actually belongs to the multidimensional physical world, and I know that as a spiritual being, the way to represent a physical being, a spiritual being in this physical world is just a dot, as if it is just present, but it doesn't go into a lot of expansion. So when I see myself not as this complicated, multidimensional character, but just a dot, a spiritual being that belongs to a different dimension, not this physical dimension, this multidimensional dimension. And so, dot thinking, the more I see myself as a dot, and I see everyone else also as a dot, we're all dots, then I don't go into the expansion of the name and the form and the personality of that belongs to this physical world. And when I do that, then my thoughts become very simple. I don't go into the expansion of any scene. Another way to look at it is like if you look at a projector projects the image. And if you look at the way it projects, it's just back of the lens, it's just coming from a dot, and then it is projecting on the screen. In the same way, it's like I, the being, the soul, the dot. Whatever is there inside, I project it outside in the physical world. And that becomes my story. All that projection becomes the story. So dot thinking is not to be concerned too much on about what is there on the screen of my mind, the projection, but actually to go behind into the being, the dot that actually projects. And so this thinking, it'll really allow me to not go into expansion of unnecessary things. It'll just allow me to be in essence, to be myself, and to put a dot to, or a full stop to, everything that is happening in the physical world. And when I do that, then It's like a whole new dimension opens up. And then it's very easy and natural to experience the presence of the supreme dot, the one that really doesn't uh, come into the consciousness of the role at all. And so a dot experiencing the presence of the supreme dot, the divine. And so in dot thinking, I experience myself as a dot, everyone else as a dot. I connect to the dot that projects everything on the mind, screen of the mind. I can put a dot, a full stop to the scenes of the physical dimension, and then I can connect to the supreme dot. So let us take a few moments to experience dot thinking as we sit relaxed. We realize that all this multidimensional creation in the physical dimension is just a projection coming from the dot. The dot is a being that doesn't belong to this physical dimension. As a soul, I'm just present here. I'm not of this world. I realize that the various thoughts in my mind are merely a projection of the different identities that I hold in my mind. And the more I realize my eternal truth of being a dot, a soul, I naturally gravitate towards the real experience within the dot, which is metaphysical. I go above and beyond this physical drama to my home, my real home of light, where it's nothing but all the dots. Within each dot lies a whole universe of experiences. Each dot, each soul is precious, valuable. Each dot is a child of the Supreme, the Divine. And the more I see the physical world from a distance, as I move up and up, I begin to see it as a dot, as if it's nothing. And right now, in this moment, all that matters, all that exists, is the reality. I, the being, in the presence of the divine, in our home of light, in our family, of dots. This is all there is to life. I stay here in silence, experiencing the presence of the divine, an eternal relationship that knows no limitations, no boundaries. There's nothing that can come in between us. I feel loved, accepted, cared for, valued in the presence of the divine. I allow everything else to just simply fade away as my mind rests on the supreme dot. And I begin to experience a genuine flow of love, of power, of warmth within myself, coming from the source, the divine. I am here safe, secure, in the presence of the divine. Feel being completely under the attraction of the one, lost in love of the one. I experience inner silence and I connect with my eternal truth. And as I am gently sent back from my real metaphysical silent world into the drama, I enter as a guest, whilst acting my part on the stage. I remember I am a dot. Everyone is a dot. I see this physical world from a distance as a dot, and we all belong to the most beautiful, supreme dot. This dot thinking allows me to stay real, stay detached, stay loving, safe, and secure. Om Shanti.